Be honest, none of us saw this coming. Not with a roster this stacked, yet here we are. The Clippers are falling apart right in front of us. So let's figure out why. They were supposed to be contenders, but instead, the Los Angeles Clippers are collapsing in front of the entire NBA. Sitting at 14th in the West with a 5-16 record, this isn't just a bad start, this is a disaster. Injuries have ripped this roster apart. Kawhi missed half the season. Derrick Jones Jr. is sidelined. Bogdan Bogdanovic is hurt, and Bradley Beal is out for the year before he even had a chance to help. And as if things couldn't get worse, the Clippers disrespected one of the most important players in franchise history. Chris Paul returned for his final NBA season, the place he turned into Lob City, and the team he helped make relevant. And instead of honoring that, they just released him. A great team on paper, a catastrophe on the court. How did the Clippers get this bad? And more importantly, how much worse can this get?
The LA Clippers just suck. Straight up. Like a team that I was high on, not living obviously up to the hype at all. Yes, they were an older team coming in, and I was like, okay, but these guys kind of fit well, all that stuff. But one of the slower teams, the older teams, injuries, all that is just making them last place. That to the point where I don't even know. So second last place. I don't even know that are they able to turn this around at one point? Kawhi is now back healthy, but defensively they're like bottom five.
It's as simple as this. If you're looking at numbers, looking at surface level, they're bottom 10 in offense, they're bottom 10 in defense, they're bottom 10 in pace. They're bottom 10 in basically every possible team statistic.
Let alone bottom 10, like bottom 5.
Yeah, even bottom 5 in most of them as well. The only thing they're good at is free throws because they're number 1 in the league in that. But other than that, like you said, that's the main reason why they suck. They're slow, they're old, they can't score, they can't defend. That's not a recipe for success.
And injured.
And injured as well, yeah.
Yeah, like, I thought these guys would have been really good defensively in a sense that, like, listen, Derrick Jones Jr., who's now injured, obviously big thing. Batum being there. You bring in a guy like Brook Lopez for off-the-bench production. Obviously, he's nowhere near to the same Brook Lopez in the even Bucks and pre-Bucks days at all. Kawhi Leonard missing 10 games of the year. James Harden, credit to him, picked up the load a lot, but the problem is it's no longer Houston level James Harden. Yes, he's getting the points. A lot of them at the free throw line, obviously classic James Harden. I'm not saying that in a negative way at all. But someone needs to be the scorer ever since they traded away Norman Powell, and now with Bradley Beal being out for the year. Now Kawhi Leonard is back, and he is giving some production for the time being. But again, the point is they cannot defend for shit. Offensively, you only have two main scorers, but if you're talking about the whole year, just James Harden, because you traded away Norman Powell, which I didn't hate the move at the time. In hindsight, dumbass move, because Norman Powell is playing like an all-star once again for Miami, and one of the surprises of the year over there as well. The reason why I didn't mind it at the time was because, like, okay, you don't want to pay him the contract, you don't want to bank, they believe that this is not the true Norman Powell. Obviously, like I said, in hindsight, they look wrong because they need another scorer, especially with Beal being out. Who is that really? Because James Harden, we made it easy for him that he'll be more of the playmaker, but now he has to be more of this playmaker and he has to be a scorer along with Kawhi Leonard, which you're banking on being healthy.
Yeah, and Harden has stepped up. He's averaging 26.
Yeah.
Kawhi's almost 27. Kawhi's averaging 26. So your top two guys are playing like your top two guys. But here's the thing with the LA Clippers that I've noticed this year. That is not like their teams of year past. When you're talking about their teams of year past, you're talking about a team that has really good depth, really good two-way ability. Obviously, the two-way ability is still there for some people, but the depth is gone now because we have seen 3 people get injured this year in Bogdanovic, Bradley Beal, Derrick Jones Jr., and the depth hasn't stepped up. And the issue with that is you traded away Norman Powell, a guy who was a scorer for you. Now you only have 4 guys on the court right now at the moment that have double-digit points. Everyone else is not great. You have Kawhi at 26, Harden at 27. The way their scoring is going right now, that has to be like 28 to 30 points for both of them. Zubac doing his thing. He's getting his 16-11 double-double.
He's pretty much the exact same as last year.
Yeah, he's still Zubac.
I thought he would have taken a little bit more of a step, but obviously...
And then after that is nothing. Like, after that is John Collins at 12, and that's it.
You pretty much moved Norman Powell for John Collins and signing Bradley Beal, bringing back Chris Paul, but we know that was more of a He wants to retire where he was best known for, I guess, in his prime days. I know New Orleans Hornets at the time were his debut team, but Norman Powell, you let him walk because you didn't want to give him a contract extension. He is a free agent next year, but currently at $20 million, it would have been a lot more different if he was with you guys at the moment. Obviously, you guys recently played the Miami Heat, got your ass whooped, and Norman Powell was like, "Well, it's not my problem anymore," which obviously I 100% agree with. You're not on that team.
Yeah. So a team that we once saw had a lot of depth and gave us a lot of confidence to pick, kind of saw it go away in 3 injuries in one trade.
Yeah. Well, 3.5 injuries too, with like Kawhi being injured.
Yeah, Kawhi missing
Yeah,
half
and
the
that's
year.
where James Harden got a lot of his points because once again, who is that scorer when Kawhi was down? Kawhi was down. Zubac, like he's doing exactly what he's doing last year. Yeah, do I think he would have taken a little bit more of a step this year? Sure, but then he's not a guy you give the ball to like play off the post. It's like you have to feed him, which is where he's really good playing with point guards like James Harden. So like, and then on top of that, with this Western Conference being loaded as it is, you're 2 games away from being last place, which again, Zion Williamson's gonna miss an extended period of time with the Pelicans, so I don't expect you guys to finish last. It banks the question of what's the future of this team, because clearly this year's a write-off. Like at this point, I don't know. Unless they're going to.
How do you come back?
They did a crazy run last year. I get that, but last year you had an all-star level player in Norman Powell, who in many people's eyes got snubbed.
Yeah,
right?
but like, how
and
do
the guy on top. Sorry, 1 second. And on top of that, the guy could have played off the ball when he needed to, but could have got you a bucket when you give him the ball.
How do you come back in this conference?
Are you talking about this year, or are you talking about
Just in general, the Western Conference? Like, how do you come back in this year, more specifically, and obviously what we saw last year, where everything was separated by 1 game? Like, you genuinely can't fall behind. Like, it's almost impossible for them to pull off this comeback.
I guess the good news for them, at the very least, there's only 3 games behind the 10th seed.
Yeah, honestly,
that's the bare minimum. I'm saying that
that's the
Clippers'
bare minimum.
expectations were playoffs.
Yeah, that's still below expectation. That's still like, why do they suck? Like, we'll still be making this video if they're a 10 seed.
But no, at the end of the day, like they blew a lead against Memphis Grizzlies in the final day of the group NBA Cup group stage games, right? So it's not even like, oh, they beat the game that James Harden went off in the first quarter was against the Charlotte Hornets, who've in my opinion also been somewhat disappointing, whether it be injuries or I thought they were going to take a step in general. At the end of the day, if you're talking about long term, I have pulled it up right here. Their younger players aren't your like best players. Like at the end of the day, your best player right now in Kawhi Leonard is 34. The second best player in James Harden is 36. Right? Your youngest player that's currently consistently in the rotation is John Collins, Ivica Zubac at 28, and if healthy, Derrick Jones Jr. Guys like Kobe Brown, Jordan Miller, Jameel Telford, Kobe Sanders, you probably don't even know who some of these guys are. Cam Christie is the youngest at 20. None of these guys really crack the rotation on a consistent basis. So they have zero foundation to go in for the future to even build off with guys like Anthony Edwards, Victor Wembanyama. Even Jokic at this age is still a superstar level and he's not going down and he's very durable in that sense. Luka Doncic, like Ja Morant if he figures his shit out. So the point is, like, maybe that's where they have to go. And this team is talking about bringing in DeMar DeRozan. A team that's already old. I'm not saying DeMar DeRozan is washed, but a team, the difference between DeMar DeRozan and Norm Powell, I said it. Norm Powell could play off the ball and can catch and shoot if he needs to. DeMar DeRozan is an elite mid-range scorer that can hit the 3-ball at times.
Here's the thing.
So how is he going to make your team better? Yeah, you'll get another score, but then, again, this
is what they're trying to do. This is what they're trying to do. Who do their picks belong to for the next 3 to 4 years?
It's like a mix of things, but obviously the main one being OKC.
Yeah,
and this
exactly.
upcoming year is
basically
OKC.
The main thing here, they don't own their picks.
Yeah.
For the upcoming years. So what Bomber's gonna do is try to be competitive for those next 3 to 4 years. Because
there's no way.
At the end of the day, there's no point of sucking.
Not even for that reason. Even if you wanted to suck, let's just say that. It's Steve Ballmer. He's the richest owner in sports. I believe, richest owner in the NBA, I think. I don't know. Maybe Mark Walter takes over now once he took.
Just a quick point though.
Yeah.
They can't afford to suck because like they're not going to get anything.
Well, I know that. I get that. I'm just saying in general, even if they like to the point, because I know off camera before you realize they don't have their pick, it was like, oh, they got to rebuild. You can't even rebuild because it's Steve Ballmer. Yes, you're lucky you have an owner that shows up to every game and is enthusiastic. I get that. You've spent a lot of money and you've moved into a new stadium, the Intuit Dome, which is are you really gonna rebuild? And you're already, and then 3, you're the LA Clippers. You're trying to match this team over here in the LA Lakers, and are you gonna really do that when you guys are already behind the 8 ball regardless? And on top of that, you're gonna rebuild in the Intuit Dome. Like the only time your your stadium will sell out is if you play these guys in the Intuit Dome.
Exactly. So obviously they're not gonna be as good as this team here.
Yeah.
Also, if you could hear that, comment down below what's in there. I guess let's see if you guys could guess whoever gets it right is a genius.
So,
but overall, yeah, like I feel like that's what they really try to do when those years came up where the Lakers got LeBron, then Lakers got Anthony Davis. Obviously, they try to match it with Kawhi Leonard and Paul George,
and built a good team around them. To be fair,
but they just obviously were very unsuccessful.
Yeah,
and also had a lot of injuries and choke jobs.
Yeah,
but the thing that makes it worse is because you gave up all that stuff, all this future for Paul George,
who's no longer
on your team anymore. And that future was first round picks and an MVP and a guy who's won MVP, Finals MVP, and an NBA title in the same year.
I'll give him credit. They didn't overpay him this time as well. They realized that he isn't the same Paul George and they let him walk, and Philly has to deal with him now. So I'll give him slight credit there. But the point is, at the end of the day, this team is going to be this team is pretty much built those 2022 Lakers were when they got Westbrook and Carmelo Anthony and Trevor Ariza and all the old washed guys. Like at the point, like I thought this team was still built better around that. Obviously, clearly not. We've been proven wrong. But that's what they're trying to. They're now trying to be that, like in soccer terms, purchase team. Try to get as many players as you can. And listen, you might be able to. I don't know what assets. Like you're not gonna get any star, but if you're having disgruntled stars in John Moran, maybe Zion Williamson, and all these guys, DeMar DeRozan, whatever, you might have to use those picks because at the end of the day, this is your contract situation. Obviously, Chris Paul is gonna be off the books, right? And then he's only like $2 million regardless.
Yeah, so it doesn't matter.
That's his requirement here. You have Kawhi Leonard for 1 more year. So maybe if you want some type of assets, you might want to move off of him. Maybe Kawhi asks out. Obviously, the drama with the whole cap circumvention and all that stuff. James Harden has a player option. James Harden, like, yeah, he might want to stay home. He might take a paid day. Sure. Whatever the case may be. This time, I won't even blame James Harden for leaving. If he wants to leave and go to a better situation that needs a proper point guard play.
He's 36.
Yeah.
He's never won a title.
Yeah.
He's been trying to do title chases ever since he left Houston, obviously.
Yeah.
And that hasn't worked out.
But you're going to have some cap open, and your free agency class right now, again, like I said, is LeBron James. He's not going there. Trae Young has a player option. We'll see what happens with him. Zach LaVine, James Harden, CJ McCollum, Chris Middleton. The current NBA is no longer an elite free agent class NBA like it was, which was last in 2019-2020 season, where you got Kawhi Leonard and traded for Paul George and got guys like Marcus Morris and so on and so forth. That was the last time we've seen an elite free agent class, because nowadays players are all, especially the older veteran ones, are signing extensions as early as possible.
But even the young studs.
Yeah, like those. Yeah,
like they're like rookie extensions. All that stuff are happening as well, or in terms of like getting the maximum amount of years.
So these guys need to bank
money.
on the way this thing could work is if you go get a Trae Young by trade again and extend him, or you go get some pieces, because there's no other way I see this team being better. And before we close it all out here, because we already agreed that they're not gonna make the playoffs. They have to go on a crazy run, and can they do that? Maybe, but we've seen so far. I have not seen any faith that they could do that. Last person I want to talk about is what's gonna happen with Tyronn Lue. Is this the year he'll finally get? Not finally, because I don't think he deserves to be fired in general. But if you're having a year like this is where I could see him getting fired, and then he'll get a job ASAP somewhere else. But is it how much is on T. Lue? Because he's done a great job. Like one thing with T. Lue, he did a really good job when players were injured. And he got players playing together well, right? Remember the year where they finally went to the conference finals when Kawhi got hurt in the playoffs? They finally went to the conference finals. Only
he's obviously done a great job.
But this year he's not.
Look, you're in a situation where it's hard to improve.
Yeah.
Where you can't afford to be bad because it's not going to benefit you in any way. So the only thing you could really change is the coach.
Yeah.
So obviously, when I'm looking at that, I could see Ty Lue being gone this year, whether it be getting fired or parting ways. I think it'll be leaving.
It'll be in the middle. If this continues, he's getting fired in the middle of the year. You have Taylor Jenkins there. You have Michael Malone there.
Yeah, so like that's the only thing they could do is change a coach.
Yeah,
like that like they have nothing else they can really. They really are gonna try their best to win and try to salvage something this season, or just find a way to climb the standings, which I believe they will for a little bit. But overall, right now,
I see.
it just feels like you could see playing, but right now it just feels like the injuries are too much, which has obviously been the story of the Clippers.
Injuries, just the play,
and the play has been like really bad. So yeah, like when you're bottom 5, bottom 10 in offense and defense, like at the end of the day, the coach does deserve some blame for that for sure.
Listen, I'm a Laker fan. I don't care about their demise. I don't care if they're bad, but like from an NBA fan standpoint, this team needed to be good, and then being unbiased here, they've just been awful. They needed to be better. We had high expectations of them. We thought this team could have gone far if they were healthy. Obviously, that played into a thing. Play hasn't been the situation. So before we all wrap it up, make sure you guys hit the subscribe button and comment down below, Clipper fans, if you exist. What do you expect this team to do? What is going to happen in the future? Because, listen, it looks tough at the moment. You don't have your picks, and you're old. You don't have any young building blocks. Can you find a way to trade for young studs like John Moran or Trae Young and just start fresh and build it over? Do you trade Kawhi Leonard in the offseason and see what happens from there? We want to hear your thoughts below. Hit the subscribe button. We're almost at 1,100 subscribers. Hit the like button as well, and we'll catch you guys on the next one.
Peace.